There is a version of this story where Robin van Persie becomes an Arsenal legend. The boy who arrived from Feyenoord in 2004 as a gifted but volatile young forward, whose talent was matched only by his fiery temperament, grows into the club's greatest modern striker and retires with his statue outside the Emirates. That version almost happened. Then came the summer of 2012, and for many Arsenal fans, it felt like loyalty in football only ran in one direction. By 2011, Van Persie had already survived years of injuries that made him more punchline than talisman, a player Arsenal fans loved but could never quite plan a season around. Then something clicked. Wearing the captain's armband handed to him after Cesc Fabregas left for Barcelona, he produced the best form of his career. 30 goals in the league, 37 in all competitions. PFA Players Player of the Year, Football Writers Player of the Year. For one season, he was the best striker in England, and he was doing it in an Arsenal shirt, as Arsenal's captain, while the club finished third, scrapping for a Champions League spot rather than chasing the title. That is the detail that makes everything after it sting. He was not just a player. He was the captain, the man handed the responsibility of carrying Arsenal through its toughest post-Highbury years, the man supporters trusted to understand what the badge meant. On the 4th of July 2012, Van Persie announced he would not sign a new contract, with a year still left on his existing deal. Instead of a quiet contract dispute, he published an open letter explaining that he and the club disagreed on Arsenal's direction and vision for the future. To many supporters, it felt less like negotiations had broken down and more like their captain had publicly lost faith in the club. Van Persie later claimed Arsenal never presented the kind of long-term project and contract that convinced him to stay. The announcement stunned Arsene Wenger, who had built his last great attacking side around him. Manchester City, the reigning champions, circled. Juventus made contact from Italy. But there was only one destination Van Persie seriously considered, and it was the one no Arsenal fan could stomach: Manchester United, Arsenal's great title rivals of the Wenger era. On the 15th of August, the deal was done. £24 million, a 4-year contract, and a captain walking out of one dressing room and into a rival's within weeks. Van Persie called it the perfect match, talking about following in the footsteps of United's great strikers. Wenger called it a regret he never fully resolved, pointing to how the club's hierarchy handled the situation as much as to the player himself. For supporters, the politics mattered less than the symbolism. Their captain, their top scorer, the man who had just delivered the finest individual season of the post-Invincibles era, had chosen Manchester United. Within months, he was a Premier League champion in a Red Devils shirt, lifting the trophy Arsenal fans had waited for since 2004, scoring 26 league goals and playing a decisive role in United's title-winning campaign. The wound was never just that he left. It was where he went, and how quickly he was rewarded for going there, while Arsenal spent another season outside the title race. Van Persie has spent years since trying to explain himself without apologizing for the decision itself. He has said he understood the anger, that he was captain and top scorer the year the club finished third, that he has no regrets about the move even while admitting regret over how it was handled. He has described his first game back at the Emirates as one of the hardest of his career, scoring against Arsenal on his return and taking the jeers on the chin. He has called the wound still sensitive for Arsenal supporters, even now, even from a respectful distance. That is the strange legacy of Robin van Persie at Arsenal. Statistically, one of the club's greatest ever goalscorers, still sitting among the top scorers in the club's history. Emotionally, the man whose exit taught a generation of Gunners fans to watch every departing captain with one eye closed, waiting to see which direction the knife is facing. Robin van Persie didn't simply leave Arsenal. He left for the one destination many supporters believed no captain should ever choose. And more than a decade later, that decision still defines his Arsenal legacy as much as the goals he scored.